The Blazing Forge just announced that he plans to continue his top 10 Pokemon from every generation series, so I have to inconspicuously continue my series as if nothing happened. Hey guys, it's Andy, aka Elogee, and yeah, today I'm back with the top 10 Pokemon from every generation. The last episode was pretty fun, I think you guys liked it, so I'm here today for episode 2, which is Generation 2, aka Johto Pokemon. And yeah, like I alluded to in the intro, be sure to check out my boy The Blazing Forge for giving me the inspiration for this series. I'm super excited that he is going to continue his series because I mapped all my favorites out. I have all 8 generations planned, so I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are as well. Like I said, today is Gen 2 day, so let's just get into it with my top 10 favorite Pokemon from Generation 2. Alright, at number 10 I have Typhlosion. I believe my initial love for Typhlosion came with that Pokemon anime side series I can never remember the name of. I think it was Pokemon Chronicles that showed like side characters doing stuff in anime form. Anyway, the Gold, the player character from the games, he had a Typhlosion in that anime series, and I thought it was pretty cool, so ever since then I've just kind of liked Typhlosion. Typhlosion wasn't my first starter in the Gen 2 games. I was actually Totodile, but in retrospect, Typhlosion is definitely my favorite among the trio of starters. I don't dislike any of the starters, even Meganium, but Typhlosion is definitely my favorite. Probably not the most competitively viable, but definitely my favorite. It's got Eruption, has Flash Fire, like it's got some stuff going for it. Could definitely be better, especially if they gave it a Mega Evolution. But overall, I just like Typhlosion's design. Cyndaquil's kind of cute, little wonky. Quilava's getting there, but once it gets to Typhlosion, that's where it's at. The old sprite version particularly, like this meme, everyone's saying how they massacred Typhlosion once they eliminated the spiky flames from its back constantly, even though they're not supposed to be constant, but it does look better in the old sprites, I gotta say. But yep, that's it for Typhlosion. So moving on to number 9. At number 9 I have an Evolution, and considering there's only 2 in the generation, might be difficult to guess which one it is. However, I prefer... Sorry, there's noise coming from outside. I prefer Espeon. Espeon is my number 9. I think it was Generation 3 in Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, and Pokemon Colosseum where I really grew attached to Espeon. I used one in my first playthrough of Pokemon Platinum as well, and just felt it was an amazing psychic type. I was never able to like trade with friends or myself because I didn't have 2 Game Boys, so I could never get Alakazam, so I didn't have access to that level of psychic prowess. But Espeon was definitely not far behind Alakazam. And then once Gen 6 came around and I got more into competitive, I utilized Hidden Ability Espeon, which Magic Bounce can be a complete menace. But yeah, Espeon is... Yeah, I would say Espeon's my favorite evolution. It looks more like a cat than the other evolutions, which I like cats more than dogs. More than anything, really. I just love cats. I don't know if Espeon is supposed to be a cat or resemble a cat, and I don't even know if that's contributing to why I like it as much, but Espeon is just a very strong, cool, cute Pokemon, so yep, that's why it's number 9. At number 8, I have another Psychic type Pokemon, that being Celebi. Boy oh boy, where to begin with Celebi? Back in Gen 2 era, when Gen 2 was new, there was Pokemon hype unimaginable amount. Like, if you weren't there now, you can't even imagine what it was like back in those days. But okay, my original party in Pokemon Silver had like this level 100 Golem named Hacker that eclipsed my starter for Alligator. So Golem was like the cornerstone of my team, and I had some other stuff in the team that I don't even remember. One day my friend Michelle showed me how to do the clone glitch. So I did the clone glitch, but I somehow erased my party, so I lost my original team, like my Hacker, my Feraligatr, like all of them. They were all gone, but right around that time, my cousin Ty used his Game Shark to get me a Celebi, which I had no idea what it was. Like, it was this mythical thing. Nowadays we have a conceptualized idea of what a mythical is, but back in those days I didn't know, like, the idea was foreign to me. But yeah, Celebi was just this really weird looking green thing. It had a goofy looking sprite, front and back sprite, but I got my Celebi in my hacked copy of Pokemon Silver, and then I did the cloning glitch and got 6 of them. My team of 6 Celebees knew Ancient Power, Giga Drain, Perish Song, and I don't even remember the last move, but good lord, that was dank. That team stayed on that copy of Pokemon Silver until the internal battery died in like 2007 or 6, sometime around there. So RIP to that original file, but my memory of Celebi remains, and that is why it is number 8 on my favorite Pokemon. I've never really used Celebi other than that. I've tried using it competitively a few times, but I can't really get it to work the way others like Poketie 90 does, for example. But I still like Celebi, so that's why it's number 8. Coming in at number 7, I have another legendary. This is one of the 3 legendary beasts, and I actually have this bad boy behind me. Jirachi, no! My number 7 spot is Raikou. I think Raikou was another one like Typhlosion that I grew affection for during that anime series of whatever it's called, Chronicles, I believe. They were chasing this, and Gold had his Typhlosion trying to catch Raikou, and it was very, very cool. And also, Entei had the 3rd Pokemon movie, which I was just so overexposed to, and I grew to like dislike that movie just because like I saw it everywhere, rewatched it a bunch, and it just got old to me. So Entei kind of, I didn't care for Entei as much. Suicune was on the cover of Pokemon Silver and everyone loved it. I didn't care for Suicune as much. I didn't really have an opinion of Raikou back in the day, but like I said, once that Chronicles episode aired, I was like, wow, I can really appreciate Raikou. And I've since grown to appreciate the other legendary beasts as well, but Raikou is far and above my favorite among them. This generation it got access to Scald and Aura Sphere, and I think it still has Extreme Speed. That might still be event exclusive. I got my shiny legendary beast event, so I've had that Extreme Speed Rash Nature shiny Raikou from GameStop from all those years ago, and you know, it's been cool, but now Raikou's kind of eclipsed that because it's got better moves thanks to this generation's TRs, but Raikou, he's a cute little boy that can be pretty powerful. Favorite Raikou set of all time probably gotta be Sub, Calm Mind, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Ice, but rip Hidden Power, so might have to go with Scald nowadays, I don't know. But yeah, that's gonna be it for Raikou. So, moving on to number 6, I have Heracross. Heracross is a weird one because it was introduced in Gen 2 games, obviously. But back in those days, it wasn't very good. It was the only Pokemon that could know Mega Horn, which was a good attack, I guess. But it didn't learn that till very late game, like 50s and above. And it didn't know any other fighting or bug attacks, if I'm not mistaken. So Heracross wasn't really good until later generations. I never really gave it a second thought until I got back into competitive in Gen 6 when Mega Heracross was a thing. And I do like Mega Heracross. I like its ability to be like a tank, just bulky and hits very hard. But I prefer regular Heracross to Mega just because of its versatility. Its Guts set is always probably going to be my favorite set. Facade, Close Combat, Flame Orb. I think he has Swords Dance too. It's just crazy powerful. My favorite bug from that generation, I just like Heracross. I don't really have a lot to say about it, but it's a cool bug, and moving on. And number 5, here's your bear. No one on this planet is going to get this reference.
Here's your bear to sleep with.
At number 5, I have Ursaring. Ursaring was like this Pokemon that I didn't know at the time, but I didn't have access to in my copy of Pokemon Silver because it's version exclusive. So I just thought it was this very rare, like, Pokemon that did exist. So it wasn't like Celebi that was like mythical and didn't exist within the confines of the game. It must have just been very rare and I could never find it, like Dunsparce or something. So it was like built up in my mind as this epic bear, and I've always had this weird fascination with it. I've used one in my copy of Soul Silver because they reversed the exclusivity line in that. So Donphin is available in Gold and Heart Gold. No. Donphin's available in Silver and Heart Gold. Ursaring is available in Gold and Soul Silver. So I've used Donphin in Silver, and I've used Ursaring in Soul Silver. So I've used them both, and I like them both, but Ursaring, definitely my boy. I've dabbled with him competitively as well. He's like Ursaring, or he's like Heracross, and then he's got Guts, Stab, Facade to go along with it. Swords Dance as well. Close Combat, Earthquake. He's got everything as well. So I have a shiny Ursaring too, by the way. It's got this nice green coat, and it looks very, very cool. It didn't have perfect IVs, so I never really dabbled with it. But now that I have now that I have access to bottle caps, I can probably boost it up and get it to the level it needs to be. So I might actually try to use my shiny Ursaring. If Ursaring's even in the game. Is Ursaring available in Gen 8 decks? I don't think it is. We'll rip that dream. Yeah, Ursaring is my number 5 Pokemon. And number 4, I have a flying type Pokemon, one that is behind me. That is Xatu. Shout out to Natu as well for being such this cute, derpy little bird. But as adorable as it is, Xatu is the wave when it comes to like strong Pokemon that I can recommend as my favorite. Back in my Pokemon Silver days, the Elite Four member Will has 2 Xatu on his team, and I was trying to win with my my Golem. It wasn't a Golem at that time, it was a Graveler, because I couldn't figure out how to evolve it. So I kept trying to beat Will, and my Graveler just kept getting one-shot by his Xatu's Psychic, and I was like, man, this guy's unbeatable. So I grew to dislike Xatu back in that era, but ever since then it's slowly crept up, and I've grown to appreciate it. I used one in like my first competitive Gen 8 team. I like Choice Specs, Trick, Heat Wave, Psychic, and U-Turn, I think. Pretty dank set, but Xatu's a dank Pokemon. I think I like it better competitively than casually, because casually I've used one casually too in Pokemon Silver years later, and it's alright, but I think it shines better when you have Magic Bounce, Heat Wave, and U-Turn effectively and stuff. I think that's when Xatu shines. I like how Natu's like bigger than Xatu in these plushes. That's funny. But yeah, I love them both. Xatu gonna be my number 4 favorite Johto Pokemon. Alright, cracking down on it. At number 3, I have another flying type Pokemon, and y'all may have seen this coming, but at number 3, I have Noctowl. My top 3 was actually so hard to narrow down, but I eventually determined that Noctowl would be number 3 on the list. So, what can I say about Noctowl? I never really was able to appreciate it back in the day, like my original playthrough of Pokemon Silver. I don't know why. I mean, I've always thought it was cool, but I never really had that level of fascination with it until Gen 4, Pokemon Pearl. Everyone was hyped about Starly and Staraptor, but I went back, got a Hoot, evolved it up into Noctowl just because I was fascinated with owls in real life at that time, in 2007. So yeah, I had a Noctowl on my team for Pokemon Pearl, and it doesn't have the stats to make it as good as it could be, but I still loved it, still used it. If it had a Mega Evolution, that'd be fantastic, Game Freak. I used one again a year or 2 later when Pokemon Platinum came out. I had pretty much an identical team from my original Pearl team and my first Platinum team. That was funny. But yeah, I've loved Noctowl ever since. Wish it had a Mega Evolution. They finally did give it access to not only Calm Mind, but also Nasty Plot. So it's got versatility. Like I think it's gotten stat buffs as well over the years. So they're helping Noctowl, but there's still plenty of room for improvement, and I think a Mega Evolution would solve that issue without any further questions. I don't have a plush of Noctowl because all the ones I could find, I don't like the way it looks, so I don't have a friend to accompany me through this demonstration. But Noctowl, my number 3 favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. And number 2, I do have a plush of this guy. Y'all already know what it is. Get over it. Oh, hi for it. This was another one, like I said, top 3 were so hard to narrow it down, but had to be this bad boy. This is another one like Noctowl that I could never really appreciate back in the day. I used my first Furret in-game when they released Gold and Silver Crystal on the Virtual Console on 3DS. My first Furret. I loved it. Ever since then it's gotten memed, like the Furret walking meme, and Furret is just way too adorable to not absolutely love. Furret's supposed to be like 6 foot long, which is hilarious. I think there's like a life-size plush of Ferret in existence, but I don't have that one. This one's adorable enough for me, so I don't really have much to say about Ferret. I never dabbled with it competitively, although I did try to get one with Frisk, a hidden ability one with Frisk back in my Pokemon breeding days, like 2015, 16. I can't remember if I ever got one or not. I think my friend got one and traded me one. But yeah, I've never gotten around to trying these Ferret competitively. I might have to do so sometime, because Ferret is pretty adorable, so be sure to leave a like for Ferret, you guys. Yep, Ferret, my number 2, and before we get to number 1, I have a few honorable mentions. First being Lantern. I used my first Lantern, how'd that go? I think I trained one competitively in my copy of Pokemon Platinum, like max HP, Discharge, Surf, Ice Beam, Protect with leftovers. It was dank, but I still liked it because I enjoyed the Pokemon. And when you enjoy a Pokemon and you battle with it competitively, even if you lose with it, you begin to appreciate it more. At least that's what I've found. That was my experience with Lantern. I used my first one in-game when Pokemon Soul Silver came out. That was a pain because they had no way to buy like Ice Beam. You had to do it through the game corner, which they removed and replaced with Voltorb Flip, and you couldn't exchange your money for coins, so you had to just play Voltorb Flip for days until you could afford Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower. So that's what I'll remember Lantern for most nowadays, but it's a cool Pokemon. Next we have Crobat. I've always liked Crobat. Yeah, it's just a very cool, fast Pokemon that one of the first Pokemon I tried to use competitively in Gen 6. Like, I had a choice band Crobat that caught everyone off guard, and it was fun. Crobat is definitely fun. Next we have Kingdra. I don't really have much to say about Kingdra. It's a cornerstone of most of my rain teams, I guess. Though I don't really run rain teams anymore, but they're alright. Or Kingdra is alright at the very least. Firing off rain-boosted Hydro Pumps is always, satisfying. The Sniper set is a complete menace. Dragon Dance set is there, like Gen 4 DPP, going back and playing that and using Kingdra is fun. And then finally, in honorable mentions, I have Granbull. Granbull, it's kind of like Ursaring, that it's a normal type 2-stage evolution with a very strong attack. I was never able to appreciate Granbull back in the day like I did for Ursaring. I didn't really appreciate Granbull until Gen 6 when it became Fairy type. It used to be normal type, now it's Fairy type. I drafted Granbull in my first draft league because it had Intimidate, and it was like the cornerstone of my draft leagues for like the first 10 or so draft leagues. Granbull was always on my team just because it was Fairy type and had Intimidate, strong attack, a lot of coverage options, and it was great. Eventually I got overexposed to it and wanted to use other Fairy types, but Granbull definitely deserves a spot in my honorable mentions just because of the history it's played in my competitive draft league teams. Okay, and here we are. Number 1 favorite Pokemon from Generation 2. Maybe you've guessed it. There's another Pokemon that is behind me. And actually, take a note from last gen's number 1 entry when I didn't have Blastoise. I didn't have the Pokemon card Blastoise, but I do have a shiny Tyranitar. I don't know how well you can see it, but yeah, check it out. I don't remember where I got that copy of Shining Tyranitar. I think I stopped collecting Pokemon cards by the time that came out, so I really don't remember where I got it, but I have it, and I love it, and I love Tyranitar. I love this plush in particular because it's so small. Like, how are you gonna be smaller than Wooloo, bro? Tyranitar is great. I've loved it from the beginning. It was like Tyranitar, or Ursaring, kind of back in the day, like I mentioned, where it was within the game but very rare and like built up in my mind as this very rare, very elusive, strong Pokemon. And more so than Ursaring, Tyranitar definitely was. You couldn't get Larvitar until post-game, like very, very post-game, like end-game, which is a little sad. I wanted to use a Tyranitar in Pokemon Silver, but there's no way unless you train one up from level 10, a Larvitar up from level 10 to the rest of your team, which is just hardly a point to that. I did use one in Soul Silver. I traded an egg over from a copy of Pokemon Pearl where I had a Larvitar. Hatched the egg so it would be, my own. That egg was actually a timid nature Tyranitar, or Larvitar. So I was like, oh man, are you kidding me? I don't want this. And I was this close to rebreeding and getting another egg so it wouldn't be timid nature. Just any attack down nature on a Tyranitar in-game is just going to not be optimal. And being the competitive player that I am, that was frustrating me to no end. So I was this close to shutting the game off, plugging in Pearl and getting another egg set up, but I clicked on Tyranitar, and you know how when your Pokemon follow you in Soul Silver, you can click on them and they do stuff? It said like, Tyranitar is poking at you and wants to play, and ever since then I was like, oh, I can't. I opted to play with that Tyranitar, and despite not being optimal, that Larvitar grew up to be quite the team player on that team. Yeah, that was like my only experience with Tyranitar in-game because, like I said, you can't really use it in-game in most games. Competitively, however, Tyranitar is a complete boss. Last year, I participated in Save Tyranitar or something. We were trying to preserve Tyranitar's status as an OU Pokemon in Smogon. Because since its inception, Tyranitar has been an OU, overused Pokemon, just because it's so good. Like, ever since its introduction, Tyranitar has been great. I think it did end up falling to UU. Then it came around and it might be OU again. It did fall, Tyranitar did fall, but now I think it's back. Where it deserves to be. Tyranitar is so good. I've used so many Tyranitars competitively. It's got so much versatility. You can Dragon Dance, it can be Rock Polish, Weakness Policy to boost your attack, it can be special, it can be mixed, defensive. Tyranitar is so versatile, so good, and I think that's why it's got to be #1 on my favorite Pokemon from Johto list. Tyranitar is easily deserving of that spot. It is such a good Pokemon.
And it isn't even my favorite pseudo-legendary.
But we will get to that another day. For now though, that has been my top 10 Pokemon from Generation 2. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be continuing this series. I wanted a gap in between the first episode and this one, so there will probably be like a month or two in between this episode and my favorite Pokemon from Generation 3. I just want to give it time to not overwhelm you guys with a bunch of top 10s all at once. So I hope you guys were able to enjoy this. Let me know your top 10 favorite Pokemon from Generation 2 in the comments. I'm gonna get on out of here, so thank you guys for watching, and have a good day, guys.